The big film that released this past weekend was, of course, Detective Byomkesh Bakshy. With me is Dibakar Banerjee, the director, and Sushant Singh. Thank you, Sushant, for being with us. I mean, gearing up for the second weekend.
Yeah, because this is going to be our main weekend, because last week there were two big films.
Okay.
One was big and one was bigger. And this week we intend to sort of, go there and tell them that we are still there and we are fighting on, because the word of mouth for Byomkesh Bakshy has surprised us all.
Yeah.
It's been kind of raging like wildfire on Twitter, on Facebook, on the digital space and social media. And a new kind of audience is emerging out of the woodworks. And that's, I don't know, that's my assumption. A lot of the families are going and watching the film.
Yeah.
I'm not exactly known as a family director. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I don't think a lot of people can give up on you, Dibakar, ever, considering, people love the kind of cinema that you make. So, Shant, that's perhaps one reason why you said yes to this film. But having said that, I mean, do you think Paul Walker versus Sushant on a Thursday, I mean, you came back on a Friday, was sort of an unlikely match? I mean, Paul Walker, considering he's no more, was the reason why people went and watched that film more?
True, and they got the head start because they came on Thursday, we came on Friday. And so there was a positive response on that film. So they got that initial momentum. But then yes, I mean, like these strategic plannings, I mean, like actors don't do it, so I don't have to.
I was reading somewhere in one of the interviews that you gave that he turned an insomniac for this role. I mean, he wouldn't sleep. I mean, that the insomnia still continues, I believe.
It still continues, and I went.
It has had a permanent effect on him.
I went to a doctor. I got tested, and she told me that it's nothing. It's just excitement, so I can't do nothing. Okay. So it has still stayed with me. I can't sleep for more than 2 hours a day.
But the film is what, in 1943, the 40s, of course. You're somebody who's never been to Calcutta. And you got this right.
No, I've been to Calcutta, but I've never grown up in Calcutta.
Not like grown up in Calcutta. And there's a, there's a difficult chance that you know how it was in 1943.
Yeah.
I mean, people describing that would be very few.
Yeah.
So how did it come about?
2 years of research, actually speaking to all those people who are in their 80s and 90s today.
Yeah.
We actually, the first thing that we did was we collected a lot of audio memories.
Yeah.
So in our hard drive today, in our research hard drive, we have a lot of oral history.
Yeah.
As to what Calcutta was like, what Calcutta sounded like, what Calcutta smelt like and felt like right from the horse's mouth.
Yeah.
People who've lived it. That's one. Then we did a lot of research, typical vanilla research, which is just hard work, which is compiling a visual reference of Calcutta in the 1940s, reading up about Calcutta in 1940s, both in Bangla and English. Fortunately, I read both, so I got a lot of material which a general researcher who will be non-Bengali speaking will not get. For example, what were the street hawkers like? In 1943 Calcutta. They're not the same hawkers as of today. So those kind of small details, it took about a year and a half to compile. And then we started the actual work of replicating Calcutta in our sets in Bombay and also converting few parts of Calcutta into 1943. So it was like a 60-40 ratio, 35 to 40% in Calcutta and 60-65% in Bombay.
But tell me, Sushant, was it the kind of considering did you see any of the other Byomkesh films? Considering there's a huge amount of films that are made in Bangla, and plus of course the one that was the most famous was done by Rajat Kapoor.
Yes.
The TV series. Everybody remembers that.
Right.
So how difficult is it to overcome so many of those that people have actually watched and followed?
I was not thinking about that. When I was offered this film, that was. At that time I thought about this idea that I'm doing something that has been done in such a successful manner before. So I think I'm probably the 75th Byomkesh Bakshy if you consider theatre, TV and films. And then I knew that it's Dibakar directing it. Yeah. Then I read the script and I got to know that, okay, this is something that's very, very new and fresh on the same thing. He asked me not to watch any of the films. I remember he telling me that, okay, you have to watch Chidiya Khana by Satyajit Ray. And he's like, okay, this is something that you don't have to watch. Uttam Kumar's. Why? Because it's his first case. This portrayal of Byomkesh is your future. So he'll get there in my films, like fourth or fifth film. But this is something that you don't have to play in my film.
Where Byomkesh is a greenhorn, where he's kind of... That take has never been done. And I was always interested in figuring out how Byomkesh became Byomkesh. Even Dibakar Banerjee, who's written the stories, has left it vague. Tantalizing hints, but left it vague. So that's where we went in.
But tell me something, a film like this, I mean, with a star like Sushant, I mean, do you think that it should have been promoted a little better? I mean, considering it's another YRF banner, so you had all the resources with you. I mean, to have promoted this film better would probably have got a better start. I mean, considering a big film like this, which people, as you say, are enjoying, should not come to them through a word of mouth, because you can't take that gamble.
First of all, it's not a big film, not in terms of expense and size that you're thinking. It looks big.
Yeah.
I think I take pride in the fact that we make films which look about double the size of what they cost.
Yeah.
And that's something that Bollywood doesn't know yet. But I'm hoping that they'll catch on to my secret. So it's not that big a film budget-wise.